It's now 6:59 on this Friday morning. High temperature yesterday on Thursday was 34 degrees. That came at 5:20 p.m., one above the normal high for the 29th of September, two above last year's high. Low temperature of 31 degrees came at 8:31 a.m., six above the normal low, three above last year's low. Average temperature on Thursday was 33 degrees. That's four above normal, three above last year. Highest gust of wind from the east at 30 miles an hour. This was supposed to be the first day of the International Sand Sculpting Championships in Virginia Beach. Needless to say, Hurricane Ian has canceled those events. September 30th is known as Blasphemy Day. It's International Translation Day, National Love People Day, National Mulled Cider Day, Wrigley Chewing Gum Day, and it's Ask a Stupid Question Day. Good morning, it's 7 o'clock, and you're listening to KBRW. 680 AM in Barrow, Atkinsuk and Wainwright, 91.9 FM in Barrow, 88.1 FM in Kaktovik, Noixon and Point Lay, 101.5 FM in Point Hope and Anaktuvik Pass, and worldwide at kbrw.org. Community radio for the North Slope, broadcasting from the top of the world, Barrow, Alaska. Friday, September 30th, the 273rd day of 2022. The short-term forecast for the northern Arctic coast, cloudy today, 30% chance of snow. Areas of freezing fog and high near 31, north winds around 15 miles an hour. Tonight, cloudy, 30% chance of snow. Areas of freezing fog, low around 26, north winds around 15 miles an hour. Saturday, cloudy, 20% chance of snow. Areas of freezing fog, high near 28, northeast winds around 15 miles an hour. Still at 31 degrees, north winds at 11 miles an hour. The wind chill down to 21, visibility's improved to 10 miles. The barometer's up to 29.81.
The U.S. House is supposed to take...
This is statewide news from Alaska Public Media. I'm Michael Finelli. A bill Congresswoman Mary Peltola sponsored passed the House yesterday, a bit more than 2 weeks after the Democrat was sworn in. Her first bill, H.R. 8888, calls for an Office of Food Security in the Department of Veterans Affairs. It passed overwhelmingly in the House chamber.
The yeas are 376, the nays are 49, two-thirds being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended. The bill is passed.
Peltola says the topic is important in Alaska, where roughly 10% of the population served in the military. Her spokesman says the bill was drafted in conjunction with the staff of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. The 49 no votes were cast by Republicans, many of them members of the right-wing Freedom Caucus. Meanwhile, today is a day of remembrance for Indian boarding schools in the U.S. and Canada. It's also known as Orange Shirt Day. The day of recognition was created by a boarding school survivor in British Columbia who had her favorite orange shirt taken away on the first day of school. There were dozens of residential schools across Alaska. Generations of Alaska Native children were also taken from their homelands to attend boarding schools in other parts of the country. There are a number of events happening around the state to bring attention to the damage these schools did to Indigenous children and to offer a way to honor victims and begin healing. Ati Nasaya works at AWARE, Juneau's domestic violence and survivor support organization. She says it's a history that many Alaskans are completely unaware of.
Understanding what's happened here and understanding that history allows for us to strive to tend well to the landscape that we live in and to each other in a way that encourages us to support things like language revitalization.
In Anchorage and Juneau, people will wear orange shirts and gather during morning commute times today to wave at drivers and hold signs. Also in Juneau, there will be a formal apology prepared by the Alaska Quakers at Sayi-Gastineau School, the site of the former Douglas Island Friends Mission School. And finally, earlier this month, the Biden administration announced $1.5 million in funding nationwide to address the opioid epidemic. 15 tribal organizations in Alaska got a total of $9 million, and the Alaska Department of Health and Social Services will be getting $4 million. The state's plan for using the money includes providing more of the overdose-reversing drug naloxone. There are also plans for educating youth about substance abuse, including trauma-informed programs specifically for Alaska Native youth. The project is expected to serve a total of 300 clients and more than 2,000 providers over the course of 2 years. This is Alaska Public Media.
The Alaska Morning News is brought to you in part by
Yoga for Mental Health, offering on-demand online yoga and meditation classes to help you relax, realign, and recharge. Membership information available at yogaformentalhealth.com.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Workday, an enterprise management cloud focused on providing organizations with a system to continuously plan for all what-if scenarios. Workday, the finance, HR, and planning system for a changing world.
The morning edition on KBRW is brought to you in part by Aztec, the Arctic Slope Telephone Association Cooperative. Now, time for the KBRW Morning Report.
Good morning. It's 7:08 on this Friday morning, September 30th. Story comes from Katie Anastas of Alaska Public Media in Anchorage. The Alaska Department of Health and Social Services sent out its last COVID-19 data summary on Wednesday via email and social media. It marks a shift from focusing on case counts to tracking broader trends across the state. The department will continue to send its weekly COVID and flu updates on Fridays. Alaska's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Ann Zink, said those updates will still include COVID case counts. Zink said, but we try to put that into a larger context. We also talk about how many people show up to the emergency department for COVID-like illness, how many people are showing up to the emergency department for influenza-like illness, and how full the hospitals are in general. Wednesday's data summary reported 34 hospitalizations and 546 resident cases in the last week. Zink said it's become harder to track case numbers as home tests have become more popular since those results don't always get reported to the state. Zink said it's become increasingly problematic as we have more home testing and why we need to use it in combination with other data sources to give Alaskans the best sense that they can of the overall transmission of respiratory illnesses in their community at any given time. Zink said there are important differences between COVID and the flu to keep in mind when it comes to risk level. Older Alaskans are still at the highest risk for severe illness and death due to COVID, while flu carries increased risk for both the very young and the very old. Zink said people should consider getting flu vaccines now, anyone 6 months and older, particularly the young and the old, or, honestly, people who interact with the young or the old, which is a lot of us. The bivalent COVID booster, which teaches the immune system to fight both the original COVID strain and the Omicron variant, has been available for about 2 weeks. It's safe to get the booster and the flu vaccine at the same time. According to state data, 28% of all Alaskans aged 6 months and older have received a first booster dose. In Juneau, 44% of residents 6 months and older have received a first booster, and 31% of Anchorage residents have. The lowest percentage is in the Matanuska-Susitna borough at nearly 17%. Zink said many hospitals and long-term care facilities are administering COVID boosters and flu vaccines at the same time, and she expects booster numbers to increase as those efforts continue. Zink recommends getting a flu shot by the end of October, and as fall turns to winter, she said, taking care of your mental and physical health is extra important. This from James Brooks of the Alaska Beacon. After President Joe Biden on Thursday amended the federal disaster declaration, Alaska's state, local, and tribal governments can be reimbursed for 100% of many costs incurred before and after Typhoon Merbok struck this month. Federal government typically reimburses local governments for 75% of their costs, but Alaska's congressional delegation and Governor Mike Dunleavy had asked for a waiver of the remaining 25%, which was granted yesterday. The waiver covers costs only a 30-day period immediately before and after the storm, but the impact on the state budget could be significant. The Lowell Point landslide near Seward, the most recent federal disaster before Typhoon Merbok, cost $7.4 million to resolve, according to cost estimates dated July 29th. The state share of that was $2.1 million, according to the estimate. Recovery from Typhoon Merbok, which devastated communities along the Bering Sea and the Bering Strait, is expected to be much more costly. As of August 2nd, the state's disaster relief fund had a balance of $51.7 million. That's according to a letter sent that date from Governor Mike Dunleavy to the Speaker of the House and the Senate President. A state assistance program and a federal emergency management agency assistance program are available for people whose homes or other property were damaged or destroyed. Assistance may cover damage not covered by insurance. For the federal program, you can visit disasterassistance.gov or call 800-621-3362. For the state program, you can visit ready.alaska.gov or call 844-445-7131. And this story from Yerith Rosen of the Alaska Beacon. The race to represent one of the nation's most rural state legislative districts is newly competitive. Democrat C.J. McCormick, a Bethel City Council member serving as vice mayor of that city, had been the only candidate in the House District 38 race until mid-September. But now Myron Nanig Sr., a former head of the Association of Village Council Presidents and a nonpartisan, has entered the race as a write-in candidate. His write-in candidacy was certified by the Alaska Division of Elections on September 14th. The seat is open. Current Representative Tiffany Zolkowski, a Democrat, opted against running for re-election. McCormick and Nanning have much in common. Both live in Bethel, the hub community for the sprawling and mostly Yupik district. Both emphasize similar issues and needs, starting with the faltering salmon fisheries that have devastated Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta communities dependent on subsistence harvest for food and cultural identity. And both say they are open to serving or otherwise working with Republicans. But there are some key differences. McCormick is 25 and a newcomer to political office. He was appointed in late 2020 to fill a vacancy on the Bethel City Council and elected the following year. He has been interested in politics and government since he was a kid growing up in Bethel, he said. He began attending city council meetings, was one of his school counselors, took a seat on that body. Outside of his elected post, McCormick works as a communications specialist with the Yukon Delta Health Corporation in a department headed by Zolkowski, the legislator he hopes to succeed. Manning is 71 with a long record of leadership roles in the region. For 2 decades, he served as chief executive of the Association of Village Council Presidents. He resigned that position in 2016 following a KYUK investigation into the nonprofit Tribal Consortium's financial management. Nanning currently serves as chairman and president of the Sea Lion Corporation, the village corporation for Hooper Bay, where he grew up. He is a Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta Villages representative for the Alaska Federation of Natives and has served on various subsistence advisory councils. He's on the board of the Chillistic Corporation, the regional native corporation which has endorsed his House candidacy. For Nanning, McCormick's youth was a factor in the decision to enter the race late. Nanning said, although he respects McCormick, I don't think he has enough experience. But McCormick sees his youth as an asset. He said, young people have to live with the future that we're creating as legislators. People often say they want change in government. I believe strongly that electing young leaders is the best way to do that. Fisheries issues are top priorities for both candidates. McCormick, referring to the collapse of runs in the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, said the biggest thing is the threat to our subsistence fisheries. He said he's taking some inspiration from newly elected U.S. Representative Mary Peltola, who has raised fisheries concerns at the national level and who was 25 herself when she was first elected to represent the district in the state legislature. Nanning said as a legislator he would also raise awareness by the rest of the world that when conservation concerns of natural resources are raised, our native hunters and fishers are expected to bear the burden of conservation. Other high-priority issues for McCormick are law enforcement and infrastructure development in the rural district. Some villages in the district don't even have public safety officers who are trained and employed by the state, and many residents, he said, feel neglected on that front. As for infrastructure, the disaster wrought by Typhoon Merbok made the deficiencies even worse. McCormick said it really beat up a bad situation. He noted services were precarious prior to the typhoon. The village of Quinnigock, for example, has a water treatment plant in really bad shape because of permafrost thaw. And he said lack of clean water in the region has a ripple effect because it has a lot of health consequences. On those issues, Nanning pointed to his past work advocating for both law enforcement improvements and infrastructure investments. He said he would draw on his past work with ACVP to secure support for the district, and he pointed to experience he accumulated even before the 1971 Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act. Nanning said, I have also worked in positions that have benefited many of our elders in many of the villages, not just in District 38 in pursuit of title to Native allotments before ANCSA and after ANCSA passed. Both men said they would take a consensus-building approach to Juneau. Nanning said he would consider joining a Republican-led coalition. He said it depends on which party is willing and open to address Yukon-Kuskokwim needs. McCormick pointed out that until he launched this race, he was not registered in any party. He said, I'm absolutely open to working on bipartisan issues. Counting the votes in this race will likely require a few extra steps. There are special procedures for tabulating write-in votes, according to Tiffany Montmayor, the Director of Public Affairs for the Alaska Division of Elections. When ballots are submitted, she said, the initial reading registers only the filled-in bubble, not the actual names written in. Montmayor said write-in ballots are parsed out only if their total has the potential to change an election outcome. They need to come in first place altogether as a group or a super close second, she said. If that is the case, the numbers for the certified write-in candidates are tabulated while numbers for uncertified write-in candidates are not counted toward that total. For Nanning, the write-in campaign presents some challenges, but he's well known in the region, and he said he believes his campaign will overcome those challenges. Nanning's certification leaves 6 legislative seats with candidates who are unopposed as of September 22nd. In all 6, incumbents are running for re-election. They include Senator Jesse Keel of Juneau, a Democrat, Representative Andy Story of Juneau, a Democrat, Representative Ben Carter of Nikiski, a Republican, Representative Mike Prax of North Pole, a Republican, and former House Speaker Bryce Edgman of Dillingham, an independent, and Representative Josiah Putkatuk of Utqiagvik, an independent. In other races, as of September 27th, there were 4 certified write-in candidates running for the U.S. Senate seat held by Senator Lisa Murkowski, and 8 certified write-in candidates for the U.S. House seat now held by Peltola. There were no certified write-in candidates in the governor's race as of September 27th, according to the Division of Elections. There is still time for other write-in candidates to enter any of Alaska's races. The deadline for submitting applications for certification as a write-in candidate is November 3rd, 5 days prior to the general election. To be certified, a write-in candidate must submit a letter of intent form and a financial disclosure report. 21 and a half minutes after 7 o'clock.
As the school year begins, the North Slope Borough School District has fantastic news for all North Slope students. North Slope Borough School District, in partnership with Aztec, is offering to upgrade your household's current internet connection in order to bring education content from the school district to all North Slope Borough School District students. This upgrade won't cost you anything. Over the next couple of months, households with North Slope Borough School District students residing in them will be able to access this limited free offer. Our school district believes in the power of education to develop and empower all communities on the North Slope. The North Slope Borough School District is very excited about this opportunity to bring educational content to your home to help students succeed. This free service is part of a government grant and available for a limited time. This is a voluntary upgrade and you are not required to access it. If you have a student attending the North Slope Borough School District and would like to take advantage of this offer, please call Aztec at 1-800-478-6409 for more information on how to get this free North Slope Borough School District service. You can stop by the Steam Dot Coffee Shop inside Stuakpuk for your favorite fresh-made coffee drink 7 days a week. And now you can join Steam Dot's paperless punch card program. Your coffee purchase will automatically be recorded in your Stuakpuk customer loyalty account. And once you buy 9 drinks, the 10th coffee drink is free. The paperless punch card program. It's on now at the Steam Dot Coffee Shop inside Stuakpuk. Open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to midnight, Sundays from 9 to 9.
Here's the weather forecast for Friday, September 30th from the National Weather Service. A low-pressure system 100 nautical miles north of Barter Island will move east to Banks Island by 4 a.m. Saturday, then continue moving east. The remnants of Typhoon Kulap are now a very strong low in the southwestern Bering Sea that will move to the central Bering Sea this afternoon, to the southeast Bering Sea on Saturday, and to Nunivak Island on Sunday. Northern Arctic coast will be cloudy today, 30% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, and a high near 31, north winds around 15 miles an hour. Tonight, cloudy, 30% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, a low around 26, north winds around 15 miles an hour. Saturday, cloudy, 20% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, a high near 28, northeast winds around 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy Saturday night, areas of freezing fog, a low around 26, east winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy on Sunday with a high near 28. Chukchi Seacoast, including Point Hope, mostly cloudy today, areas of fog and a high near 39, northeast winds around 20 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, areas of fog, a low around 31, northeast winds around 25 miles an hour. Mostly sunny on Saturday, areas of fog and freezing fog, a high near 37, northeast winds around 25 miles an hour. Saturday night, mostly clear, areas of fog, low around 29, east winds 20 to 25 miles an hour. Sunny on Sunday with a high near 39. Southwestern Arctic coast, today, cloudy, 30% chance of snow, areas of fog and freezing fog, a high near 34, northeast winds around 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy tonight, 20% chance of snow, areas of fog, low around 26, east winds around 15 miles an hour. Partly sunny on Saturday, 20% chance of snow, a high near 31, east winds around 15 miles an hour. Partly cloudy Saturday night, a low around 22, east winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Sunny on Sunday with a high near 33. Northwestern Arctic coast, including Wainwright, cloudy today, 20% chance of snow, areas of fog and freezing fog, a high near 33, north winds around 15 miles an hour. Tonight, 20% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, a low around 27, northeast winds around 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy on Saturday, 20% chance of snow and a high near 30, east winds around 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy Saturday night with a low around 25, east winds around 15 miles an hour. Mostly sunny on Sunday with a high near 28. Central Beaufort Seacoast, today, cloudy, 70% chance of snow, areas of fog and freezing fog, high near 32, west winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, cloudy, 50% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, a low around 26, northwest winds around 10 miles an hour. Saturday, cloudy, 60% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, a high near 29, north winds around 10 miles an hour.
Up here,
Saturday night,
we
cloudy,
believe
20%
in the
chance of
miracle
snow,
of
areas of freezing fog, and a low around 26, east winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy on Sunday, 20% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, and a high near 28. Eastern Beaufort Seacoast, including Koktovik, today mostly cloudy, areas of fog and freezing fog, a high near 35, west winds 25 to 30 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy tonight, 20% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, a low around 28, west winds 20 to 25 miles an hour. Cloudy on Saturday, 50% chance of snow, areas of freezing fog, and a high near 30, northwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Cloudy on Saturday night, 40% chance of snow. Areas of freezing fog, a low around 26, north winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy on Sunday, 30% chance of snow. Areas of freezing fog and a high near 31. Northeast Brooks Range, including Eigen Pass. 80% chance of snow today. Patchy freezing fog, high near 28. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Cloudy tonight, 70% chance of snow. Patchy freezing fog, low around 16. Southwest winds around 10 miles an hour, becoming north after midnight. Saturday, cloudy, 60% chance of snow. Patchy freezing fog, high near 22. North winds around 10 miles an hour. Cloudy Saturday night, 50% chance of snow, low around 12. North winds around 10 miles an hour, becoming east after midnight. Partly sunny on Sunday with a 40% chance of snow and a high near 17. Northwest Brooks Range, including Activic Pass. Today, 80% chance of snow, patchy freezing fog, high near 30, northeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tonight, 80% chance of snow, patchy freezing fog, low around 20, north winds around 10 miles an hour. Saturday, cloudy, 60% chance of snow, patchy freezing fog, high near 24, north winds around 15 miles an hour. Mostly cloudy Saturday night, 40% chance of snow, low around 16, north winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Partly sunny on Sunday, 30% chance of snow and a high near 27. Now the marine forecast issued at 5:39 a.m. this morning. Cape Thompson to Cape Beaufort, today northeast winds 15 knots, east to 4 feet with fog. Tonight northeast winds 20 knots, east to 5 feet with fog and freezing fog. Saturday night, and Sunday, east winds 25 knots, seas 7 feet, subsiding to 6 feet Saturday night, and then 7 feet on Sunday. Fog and freezing spray. Cape Beaufort to Point Franklin, today north winds 15 knots, east to 4 feet, fog and freezing fog. Tonight, northeast winds 15 knots, east to 4 feet with freezing fog and freezing spray. Saturday and Saturday night, east winds 20 knots, east to 5 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Sunday, east winds 25 knots, east to 7 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Point Franklin to Cape Halkett, today and tonight, north winds 15 knots, east 6 feet, subsiding to 5 feet, freezing fog, freezing spray. Saturday, northeast winds 20 knots, east to 5 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Saturday night, northeast winds 15 knots, east to 3 feet, with freezing fog. Sunday, southeast winds 15 knots, east to 5 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Cape Halkett to Flaxman Island. Today, northwest winds 20 knots, east to 6 feet, freezing fog and snow showers. Saturday, north winds 20 knots, east to 5 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Saturday night, northeast winds 15 knots, east to 3 feet with freezing fog. Sunday, east winds 15 knots, east to 5 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Flaxman Island to Demarcation Point, a small craft advisory in effect through this evening. Today, west winds 25 knots, east to 9 feet, fog, freezing fog, and freezing spray. Tonight, west winds 20 knots, east to 7 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Saturday, northwest winds 20 knots, east to 5 feet, freezing fog, snow, and freezing spray. Saturday night, north winds 15 knots, east to 3 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Sunday, northeast winds 15 knots, east to 5 feet, freezing fog and freezing spray. Once again, the forecast for the northern Arctic coast. Cloudy today, 30% chance of snow. Areas of freezing fog and a high near 31, north winds around 15 miles an hour. Cloudy tonight, 30% chance of snow. Areas of freezing fog, a low around 26, north winds around 15 miles an hour. Saturday, cloudy, 20% chance of snow. Areas of freezing fog, high near 28, northeast winds around 15 miles an hour. Saturday night, mostly cloudy, areas of freezing fog, low around 26, east winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high near 28.
Whenever you get behind the wheel, day or night, make sure you turn on your headlights. You may be able to see just fine, but it's just as important that others see you. And even on a bright, sunny day, your vehicle will be more visible with your headlights on. See and be seen on the road. Hit the lights. A safety reminder from your friends at KBRW.
Clean, clean, clean your teeth, clean them every day. Your teeth will sparkle for years to come in the most beautiful way.
Hi, this is Dr. Susan Polis from Preventive Dental Services to share with you a message about dental health. Why is using a water pick a good idea? If you have difficulties flossing, there is another solution to keeping your gums healthy. Water picks, also known as water flossers or oral irrigators, use the pressure from a stream of liquid to clean teeth. Flossing is still the very best method recommended by dentists, but water flossing is a great method to add to your dental care routine. This message is brought to you by Dr. Susan Polis at Preventive Dental Services.